Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the third episode of Epic Share. This is where the amazing concepts that we're going to be sharing with you is absolutely phenomenal and truly worth sharing. My name is Kosta Gara. This is my beautiful wife,
Hi.
Sammy Gara. And this is a beautiful Thursday morning coming to you live at 11 a.m. And for the next 11 minutes, we're going to spend time with you sharing some incredible concept topics and amazing ideas that we have both inherited and learned over the last 2 decades in our lives. So with that said, honey, what's the topic we're going to be sharing today?
Absolutely. Today we're going to talk about the power of beliefs and how it's so important to be able to be consciously aware of your belief system, because it will help you in manifestation. It will help you, heal every other aspect of your life.
Absolutely. And belief, obviously, there's a lot of talk about it. Many people have touched on that at so many different levels. But we want to break it down to 3 different categories today, starting with, obviously, the neutral belief, the positive one, and then as well the negative. And unfortunately, we have to cover that because it's imperative for you to understand the 3 sides of it and understand how to handle it. So with that said, honey, let's dive into those 3.
For sure. I mean, the neutral, it's about, this color, it's black and white. So there really isn't any judgment behind. And the positive,
very much like me, correct?
Exactly.
That's me.
Exactly. So, and the positive one, it's this is good, and or I believe that if I have a glass of wine, it will relax me, whatever it is.
For sure, yeah. And there's so many versions of that. I'm sure you experience that in your day-to-day life every day. So do we.
Absolutely.
And the positive one for me is probably the biggest component of my belief system and what I truly believe.
For sure. The neutral and positive one, we're not going to, touch on this too much, because what's really stopping us to move forward, it's a negative one. So hopefully in this next, 10 minutes, we're able to give you some input about how to shift and transform your negative belief system.
Which a lot of people often have that challenge, correct, honey?
Of course. You want to give, I'll give an example
Please
about
do.
my negative belief system, and you can give one about your financial, because you're very powerful that way. So for me, I remember that, I used to believe that black cat, it's a bad luck. Like all of us have different, negative belief system.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I started to be on the path and take control and and move away from being the victim, I started to analyze my belief system.
Very true.
So I asked my dad, I said, why? And this came from my father. He said, when you see a black cat, something negative gonna happen. And I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, so my dad said this, so as I start from a younger age, and you believe this, and guess what? Because you're such a powerful human being, if you believe that black cat, it's a bad luck, guess what? Next time I see a black cat, something bad's gonna happen. But here what was interesting, okay? And for me, when I analyze, I ask my dad, why you believe the black cat, it's a bad luck? And you know what was his answer? I don't know, my dad told me.
So it's, in a way, it's generations passing it down, their belief that we don't know where it came from.
Exactly.
And it just gets inherited through next generations, correct?
Absolutely. You want to share one of your money belief system?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, for sure, this goes same thing for me, from my parents to their parents and so on and so forth. So I believe it's truly, you can have anything you want. You can set your mind to whatever you desire.
Amen.
And for sure. And this is, I'm a true testament to that concept of what happened, because in where I'm from, where I come from, and the belief system surrounding my culture, my family, did not have the same belief system that I do today.
Yeah.
And perhaps that is the reason that has contributed to my success, because I shifted. It was a paradigm shift for me to change my mindset, change my belief system to get me to where I am.
Absolutely. You share with me before, we doing the show, we always go through and fresh our memory. And one of what was powerful about what Kosta shared with me about his belief system, and I want him to add into this, because the way how he overcome and the way how I overcome, it's two different ways. So you share something with me that, that's not the way how I overcome, but both ways work. Mine, how do I overcome a negative belief system? What will take you to through a step, but how I recreate it's through affirmation. And you said something that, was very powerful earlier.
Correct. And I don't want to perhaps go in the path that I don't believe in affirmation. Rather, I have a different mindset. What I truly believe is if somebody challenges, if I feel I cannot accomplish something, that is the absolute juice to my motivation to go above and beyond, to take that next step, to prove everyone that I can do that. And that's for me what has worked. So if somebody said you're just destined not to be successful, I don't need to tell myself that I will be successful. I'm just going to go make it happen and do whatever it takes.
Absolutely. And that's very powerful. Now, my way is if somebody tell me I'm not good enough, I have to internal create some affirmation that telling me I am beautiful, I'm wonderful, and believe those so I can shift my consciousness and build this confidence so I can move forward.
And for me, if somebody said I'm not good enough, the same analogy, same example, I almost write that down to prove the point that I am incredibly good enough. So that's my way, my methodology of how my mind works, honey.
Absolutely. So let's go into how to shift, because we all focus.
Which is very important.
How to shift. There is a few steps. It's very simple. You just have to remember so you can shift your negative belief system to positive belief system. And the first step is
and by the way, we all go through that. Doesn't matter who you are, we are at the end of the day a human.
Yeah.
And that's just how our DNA is. The key is, I think, in my opinion, those that are successful compared to those that are not, they have learned how to adapt quickly and go through that transformation from a negative point of view, negative moments, to shifting it to a positive.
Absolutely. So the first step is analyzing your belief system. Like I told you earlier, I question my dad. I question where that were coming from, and it has no purpose, no truth.
Sure.
So that shows that it was invented by a human for whatever reason. So it's easy to let go. And the second thing, it's drop your assumption.
Very, very important.
You
Absolutely.
Want to touch a little bit
For
on that?
sure. We quite often, again, we make assumption, we assume things without having any facts. And those of you that know me, I am truly a fact-based individual. Everything I do has to have facts behind it. So, but that doesn't mean I'm perfect, obviously. Just like you, I do quite often assume, but the difference with me is very quickly I go on a path to dive into the facts, to understand the facts, to turn that assumption into truth, both positive or negative, getting to the bottom of it, to understanding what the fact is.
Absolutely. And also it's shifting your perception. So, when you constantly shift from negative to positive, there is much more that, you allow yourself to have in your life.
And quite often for most people, that assumption limits their ability to grow, to be happy, to be successful, to prosper. And that assumption is almost, I hate to say this, but it's almost like a disease that many of us have. But the key difference between those that are truly happy, prosper, and have learned how to quickly filter through it.
I agree with you. It's a very horrible disease that we all have as a human.
Yeah,
we don't ask questions. If somebody tells something, we believe it and we move forward. We assume this is what's happening.
And I'm pretty sure if I told our grandson, 7-year-old, the black cat is the example you gave, it's a bad luck, I am pretty confident the way we've raised him and educated him, he will immediately arise a question saying, why, Grandma, the black cat is a bad luck?
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, in my belief system, there is no such a thing as luck. Luck stands for labor under correct knowledge. So if you put the work with the right education, guaranteed you get lucky every single time.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the last one is be consistent. You know, any success and any, you know, transformation, it's being consistent all the time.
And I talk about that in my book. I talk about it always through my trainings. It is imperative to be consistent. Whatever you do, and if you study all the success stories in the past, that's probably one of their top 3 ingredients to their success. So I know we're coming towards the end of our show, honey. Hope you enjoyed this topic of belief system, and we're excited. Remember, this show takes place every single Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time Zone for about 11 minutes. And you can follow us on all the social media pages, and we're excited to be here with you every week. We're going to be bringing a lot of different individuals to the show. So with that, our time is up. Thanks for yours, and have a fantastic and epic week.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.